Hi, today we'll be talking about subsidies for goods and services. A subsidy is a payment from the government to producers or consumers in order to encourage the production or consumption of certain goods and services. Governments use subsidies for a variety of reasons. First, subsidies are used to encourage the production of merit goods. These are goods that benefit society, like education or healthcare. By subsidizing these goods and services, the government makes them more affordable, ensuring that more people can benefit from them. Second, subsidies are used to support industries in difficulty. They help struggling industries survive or thrive, especially during times of economic difficulty, like recessions or when faced with foreign competition. Besides, subsidies are used to ensure affordability, keeping the prices of essential goods such as food or energy affordable for low-income consumers. There are several different ways that subsidies can be implemented. They can be consumer subsidies that are given directly to consumers to make goods and services more affordable. For example, in some countries, public transportation may be subsidized directly to make it cheaper for commuters. The government directly lowers the price paid by passengers, making it more affordable for the general public. Consumer subsidies normally shift the demand curve rightwards. Producer subsidies, on the other hand, are paid to producers to reduce their costs, and in turn, they will lower the price for consumers. An example of this is agricultural subsidies, where farmers receive financial support to maintain low food prices. The producer subsidy results in a rightward shift of the supply curve. Now, let's move on to the effects of subsidies on the market. First, let's look at the supply and demand diagram. Subsidies affect the supply side of the market, and when government gives money to producers, it reduces their costs of production. This causes the supply curve to shift downward by a vertical distance of the per unit subsidy K in this diagram. In this diagram, the supply curve will eventually shift from S1 to S2 due to the per unit subsidy K. This results in a lower market equilibrium price from P1 to P2 and a higher transaction quantity from Q1 to Q2. This is good for consumers as they benefit from lower prices and get to enjoy larger quantity. For producers, the net price that they receive after the subsidy is P2 plus K, the per unit subsidy. So the net price is P2 plus K, which is on the original supply curve. This is good for producers as they benefit from higher unit price and a larger sales quantity. Now, let's discuss how subsidies affect consumer surplus and producer surplus. The area of the consumer surplus increases from area A plus B to area A, B, D, and F. Consumer surplus increases by area D and F, while producer surplus increases from area D and G to area D, G, B, and C. So producer surplus increases by area B plus C. The total payment made by government is the amount of the per unit subsidy K times the after subsidy transaction quantity Q2, so this rectangular area here. Eventually, we're going to see that the deadweight loss is this little triangular area that is unaccounted for. Consumers may purchase more of the good than they would at the market equilibrium price because the price is now artificially lowered by the subsidy, even though they might not value the additional units of the good as highly at the cost of producing them. Producers also respond to the subsidy by supplying more of the good. However, not all of the additional production will be valued by consumers at the price producers are willing to supply. Since not all the additional goods are valued by consumers at the price producers are willing to supply them, this will result in a deadweight loss. And in this diagram, as we just indicated, the deadweight loss is area E.